Hello ladies and gents, it's Jake here, and the Batman Arkham series has a whole slew of playable characters, and today I've decided to rank them with the exception of Batman. Now here's how I'm going to do this. Many of the characters on this list are playable in multiple games, and I'm only going to factor in aspects from the version of that character that I select. Also, there are a few characters that will not be included, those being Bruce Wayne from Arkham City, Joker as the Red Hood from Arkham Origins, Joker and Bane from the Arkham Origins multiplayer, and the first-person Joker from the end of Arkham Knight. With that said, there are still 10 characters that I'm going to go over in this video. Remember, this is just my opinion. Feel free to leave your own in the comments below, and let's begin. Starting off in last place, I have Azriel. Now I really wanted to put Azriel higher on this list, but at the end of the day, he's just a carbon copy of Batman with a different paint job. Now this does make sense within the context of Arkham Knight, but I just wish Azriel had a bit more to him. On a side note, I love Azriel's design in this game, though it is unfortunate that he doesn't have any alternate costumes, though I won't be holding that against him. I do like the detail of Azriel's explosive gel forming a cross rather than a bat, but there's not that many unique aspects to Azriel outside of that. I enjoy playing as him once in a while, and if he had a few more aspects that differentiated him from Batman, he might have been a bit higher on this list. Next up, I have Bruce Wayne from Arkham Origins. This character has some of the same issues that I mentioned with Azriel, though to a lesser extent. He does have some high points though. He's very fast in combat, arguably the fastest out of everyone on this list, and has a decent selection of gadgets that can be used in both combat and Predator maps. However, this brings to light one of my other issues with Bruce Wayne in this game, in that multiple gadgets in his arsenal are ripped right from other characters in Arkham City. He's got Robin's Zip Kick and an equivalent to Catwoman's Caltrops. For being essentially Batman light, this character is pretty much what you'd expect. I just don't think this character is different enough to justify his inclusion. I still have fun playing with Bruce Wayne once in a while, but he's not a character that I jump to play with either. Then I have the Joker from Arkham Asylum, the first additional character in the Arkham series. Joker is incredibly unique, and he's got a lot of cool aspects to his playstyle, such as his laughing gas stun move and his joy buzzer takedown. Also, a small detail I love whenever you play as Joker is that the enemies actually switch from inmates to Arkham guards, even including characters like Aaron Cash and Commissioner Gordon. Now on Predator maps, Joker is a tricky character to use, not helped by the fact that his arsenal of gadgets is extremely limited. His only offensive tools are a gun and a set of explosive Joker teeth, both of which only have one use per map. Also, his version of detective mode is actually a selectable gadget. The problem with that, however, is that it only lasts for a few seconds, and Joker is incapable of moving while using this gadget. So if you get attacked with these specs on, you're pretty much screwed unless you can escape quickly. Overall, Joker is definitely a fun character to use, albeit difficult in certain situations. Next is Deathstroke from Arkham Origins. Now I personally think Slade is a really fun character to use, even if he definitely could have been better. He's got a very unique arsenal of gadgets, including the remote claw that you get from him in the main game. His ballistic staff is also a very effective weapon. One thing that does bother me with Slade in this game is that his animation for a silent takedown is not only a direct ripoff of Robin's, but is also just as slow as Robin's. I really wish you would have been able to utilize his sword in combat, and I feel that if he were playable in Arkham Knight, which has an M rating, you might have been able to do so. In terms of combat, Slade has staff attacks that are similar to Robin, but also different in his own right. I love his animation for the multi-ground takedown, and his proximity bombs as well as the aforementioned remote claw are a ton of fun to use. While Slade is definitely a character that could have been done better, I still think he's a lot of fun. Up next I have Harley Quinn, who is probably the most unique character on this entire list. So many of her moves and gadgets are a departure from what you'd expect of a character in this series, but that's what makes her stand out. Instead of silent takedowns, she prefers to use their antithesis, loud takedowns. Like the Joker, she doesn't have that many gadgets, but unlike Joker, you can use her gadgets as much as you want. She has a snare trap that works just like the freeze grenades, an explosive jack-in-the-box, and her iconic baseball bat. Another similarity that Harley shares with Joker is that she's somewhat difficult to use in Predator maps. She doesn't possess a grappling tool of her own, but has a pounce ability similar to that of Catwoman. Probably my favorite aspect of Harley Quinn is her unique Mayhem mode. Whenever this mode is activated, Harley goes completely nuts and defeats each of her enemies in a single hit for as long as this mode is active. Overall, Harley isn't a character that I used all too often, but I have a blast whenever I do. At number 5, I've got Batgirl. Now some of you might wonder why Batgirl is this high, considering that she appears to just be a discount version of Batman, similar to Azriel, but Batgirl actually has a bit more to her. She's not quite as strong as Batman, and doesn't quite have the speed of someone like Catwoman, but she's a good mix of those two characters. She also has combat animations that are unique only to her. She doesn't have quite as many gadgets as Batman, but it actually makes sense in her case when you factor in the context of her story in Arkham Knight. Batgirl also relies more on finesse to win the day, and I think her limited gadgets, as well as lack of strength compared to Batman, provide a fun challenge and puts you in a position where you have to approach both combat and predator situations in a slightly different way than you normally would. Like Azriel, it's unfortunate that Batgirl doesn't have any alternate costumes, but she's still an incredibly fun character to play as. Then at number 4, I have Robin. There are so many unique aspects to Robin from all of his appearances. I personally think he's at his best in Arkham Knight, which is true for the rest of the characters on this list as well in terms of gameplay. Robin has his own set of advanced moves that are different from Batman's, including the staff sweep and the Robin throw. He's a lot more of a brute compared to Batman, and due to his lack of gadgets, he prefers to get up close and personal with his staff. Even though he has less gadgets than Batman, the gadgets in question are still really fun to use, such as the bullet shield and the zip kick that other characters would go on to use later. These gadgets are also useful when it comes to Predator maps. Both the bullet shield and the zip kick can be used to send enemies over ledges if you get them in the right place at the right time. There's also the snap flash, which has the same disorienting effect as some other gadgets, but you can leave it on an enemy until you're ready to detonate it. I think Robin is a very fun character to use in this game that just barely misses the top 3. Kicking off the top 3, I've got Catwoman. Now I described Batgirl as being a nice balance of Batman's strength and Catwoman's speed, and there's actually another character I haven't mentioned yet that fits this description as well, but Catwoman relies on her speed maybe more than any other character. It takes Catwoman a lot longer to beat her enemies without takedown moves, especially those with body armor, which take around 20 hits or more before they're down for the count. She's also a lot less durable and can't take nearly as many hits. Her trip move is a great way to get all nearby enemies off their feet and give yourself some breathing room. Her animations for ground takedowns are oddly a lot slower, and this leaves her open to a lot more attacks if she's not far enough away from the enemies. She also doesn't have that many gadgets, let alone useful ones. Her whip is decent as a quickfire tool in combat and has situational uses in Predator maps. This also applies to her bolus wire. Her caltrops, on the other hand, are not that useful at all, and make a lot more noise in stealth scenarios than is preferable. This different playstyle may look like it's a hindrance, but I think it provides a unique challenge that you can't really get with any other character. For our runner-up, I have Red Hood. This character is also very unique compared to any other playable character in this series. One of the big differences right off the bat is that Red Hood actually eliminates his enemies instead of just knocking them out. In terms of combat, he hits like an absolute truck and has the most brutal takedowns out of any character, including Batman. He utilizes his twin pistols in combat to keep a lot of distance between himself and his enemies. He also has Robin's zip kick to get up close and personal when attacking, and a flashbang grenade to disorient his enemies, giving him just enough time to finish them off. You can also use his twin pistols from vantage points to take out bothersome enemies like snipers or detective mode jammers. His guns will take out an enemy instantly unless they're wearing bulletproof armor. However, if you do a combo takedown or a great takedown, their immunity to bullets is suddenly gone. Red Hood's moves and gadgets are somewhat limited, but the tools and skills he does have make him incredibly fun to use. And in first place, I have Nightwing. Like Batgirl, Nightwing has a mix of Batman's strength and Catwoman's speed, but to an even better degree. His eskrima sticks are used as very effective melee weapons and also work as a tool to stun the enemies, and although less effective in Predator maps compared to other weapons, they can still have their uses in Predator maps too. I love his multi-stun move that disorients numerous enemies around you and gives you time to attack whichever of the affected enemies that you want. When it comes to Predator maps, Nightwing does utilize some of Batman's gadgets like the voice synthesizer and remote electric charge gun, but is sadly missing his wrist dart from Arkham City. His electric blast is also another move that is very fun to use, albeit situational. His acrobatics and his speed make him an extremely fun character to use in combat, and he's got a lot of moves at his disposal to take down his enemies. Overall, Nightwing's unique playstyle and arsenal of weapons make him my favorite character to use in the Arkham series, second only to his mentor. Now that you guys have seen my list, what do you think? How would you rank the playable characters in the Arkham series other than Batman? My list isn't the definitive list, it's just mine, and you should definitely leave your own in the comments. If you prefer a version of these characters from one game over the other, be sure to let me know that as well. And if you have anything else in the Arkham series that you'd like to see me rank, leave your suggestions below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment any thoughts you may have, share this video with your friends, and definitely subscribe if you'd like to see more. Peace out, Gothamites.